Welcome, everyone. You are listening to the Hash Brown Girls podcast,
where 5 extremely curious girls
hash out all of life's unanswered questions
to give you the lowdown fresh off the grill. I'm Gloria.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Hania.
I'm Afreen.
And I'm Como, but collectively we're known as the
Hash Brown Girls.
Shh, it's starting.
Disclaimer. Everything mentioned in this podcast is research purely, and our opinion is based on that research.
Welcome, everyone, to our first mini-sode.
Yay!
So these are actually called the Tater Talks because, well, we were really having quite a debate about it, and we thought, what better name for our listeners than Tater Tots? I'll get into why we're going to be calling these mini-sodes the Tater Talks in a second. So the purpose behind having these mini-sodes is because we got a lot of feedback from you, the listeners, that you really enjoyed our little freehand conversation that we have at the beginning of every episode. And we thought, why not just have an entire episode or a mini-sode where we just do that? Just have some girl talk, get a little more personal, and share what's on our minds. And most importantly, and why these are going to be called the Tater Talks, get feedback from you, the listeners, because we want you and your thoughts involved in our conversation too.
Yeah, so if you guys seem interested and would like to participate in our next mini-sode, be sure to follow us on Instagram at HashBrownGirls.
Feel free to email us your stories, suggestions, questions, and feedback at hashbrowngirls@gmail.com.
Afreen, what are you drinking over there?
I'm drinking coffee. I used Hawaiian Blue Mountain coffee. Apparently it's really, really special.
What? That sounds so fancy.
Wait, are we all drinking something?
Yeah, I'm having green tea.
Oh my god, I'm having green tea too.
Hey, green tea. Actually, a paper cup though, right? Because foam would be bad.
Why would foam be bad?
You're not supposed to use foam because, like, when you heat foam up, like with especially hot liquids, it like turns it into cancer.
Oh, that's another part of my sad story. I don't even have a tea kettle right now, so I had to microwave the hot water.
Girl, we ain't sharing.
What did I miss?
Just Sarah telling me that my life is too sad to be included in the podcast.
That is definitely not true.
So one of my resolutions for the new year was to get on a healthier diet plan and become more active. So I actually downloaded an app called Noom. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. This is not sponsored.
I've seen the commercial.
I have heard of Noom.
I've heard of it.
It's actually pretty good because it keeps you motivated, and they have a coach who will literally contact you and help you stay consistent with your diet or regimen, whatever, right? So I've actually been pretty good on it, and it's so funny, right? It's actually $149 for 3 months, but then if you go to cancel it, they're like, wait, we'll give it to you for $20 a month. And I was like, this is such a scheme. But anyways, that's not the point of this conversation.
I feel like this is a hack you found, and I want to try it out now.
Life hack: hit cancel and get a discount.
Sarah, you're so good at getting discounts.
Facts.
Fun fact about me, the Daisy and me will get a discount. So I told Zishan like about this diet and how I wanted, work out more. I was telling him about this, right? He loves to eat. And every single time I've had a cheat day, it's because he basically forces me. Like a few days ago, I had McDonald's because he was like, just eat it. And now
eating McDonald's.
I don't really like to eat it, but he was like, just eat it. And I was like, okay. So I took off the bun, but I still ate it and whatever. But anyway, so today I had a healthy meal and everything, right? Then out of nowhere, as I'm making my green tea, he was like, oh, you're making it already? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, well, actually, I have some food coming. And I was like, what? We just ate. And he was like, yeah, well, I have some stuff. So literally Uber Eats comes 5 minutes later, and guess what's there? He has chocolate cake. I'm showing everybody the chocolate cake right now.
My
chocolate cake, cheese pizza, tiramisu, cannolis.
From where? What place has all of these items?
Some Italian place. And I was like, why do you hate me? So now I'm eating this. Anyway, so now
I love how you're just like, F this.
Like, what are you going to do? Walk away?
Yeah. Honestly, it's game over if it's in front of you because you're just like, you don't want it near you because you know that you're going to crave.
We don't have any fun food in this house for that exact reason. Mm-hmm. And then the problem is I'll literally just end up going on Uber Eats. Because my intention is like, oh, we just won't have it in the house. But then it's like 1 a.m. on a Saturday and we're not doing anything because we're still quarantining. So I'm just like, let me order some Wendy's.
I understand like having the husbands kind of put it, at least my husband doesn't have to worry about like gaining weight or whatever. Like,
so unfair.
You know, when I used to live on my own before I was married, I used to like never bring in junk food in my apartment. Even when I was at my parents' house, like we would have like no junk food.
It would be so funny when we used to hang out back in the day too. We would try to figure out where to eat, and I would be like, "Oh my god, McDonald's!" Or I would just suggest like the fattest place possible, and Cole would be like, "Ew, no!" And I was like, "Oh my god." Like, she's right. Like,
yeah, even if we were on vacation, like when we went to like Miami, I was like eating healthy because my husband craves pizza, he craves sandwiches, he craves calzones, things I would never really eat. And living with him now, like we've been married for like 5 years, known each other for 6 years, I have gained so much weight and I always blame him. I'm like, it's your fault.
It's always the men's fault. It's just blame
I just
them.
feel like when it comes to like shitty food, I can never see Sarah or Como eat anything bad. Like if I want to have a pizza run or something, I'm literally gonna be like, yo, Afreen or Hanya, let's go.
What you trying to say, girl?
Yeah, so another thing I'm really looking forward to with my resolution was just mending my friendships and just trying to make sure I'm better with everyone in my life.
I like that.
Is that depressing?
Not depressing at all. And I think
You sound kind of sad saying that.
It just, I mean, just in general, I just feel like, I'm reevaluating and making sure I'm giving a lot of quality time in my friendships versus just, hi, how are you? What's
get
new?
that.
How's
I think you're
work?
being an active friend, which like a lot of people need right now.
I think you've always been good at that, though. I really don't think so, because it all goes back to I would not have friends if it weren't for my sister.
Oh,
that's
a
part's true, I
symbiotic
think.
relationship.
That's true. We're very yin and
That's
yang.
true. What about you guys? Are you guys looking forward to 2021? Anything interesting happening? Any vacations?
Absolutely
anything?
no vacations, but
I'm just looking forward to getting a vaccine.
my mom got her vaccine, you guys.
Oh my god! Yay!
I walk up to her and I hug her. I'm like, "You vaccinated, mother."
How is she like after it?
I think her arm is still a bit sore and it hurts a little bit when she moves. But I think when they actually give her the vaccine, she was like, "Wait, I need the vaccine." They're like, "Oh no, we did it already."
Oh, that's nice. So she didn't even
She didn't
like
feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which one did she get? Moderna or
Pfizer.
Oh, she got Pfizer. I heard they ran out of Pfizer.
She lucky.
That's pretty good.
That's what happens when you work for the county.
Woohoo!
My cousins got the vaccine too, and they're like doing good. One arm was sore.
They got
Yeah.
one of each, so they're kind of like our guinea pigs in the family. One got Pfizer, one got Moderna.
Oh, nice.
And now I'm like, if y'all don't turn into zombies, then we know.
Oh my god.
Just kidding. We're not
Absolutely not.
anti-vaxxers in this.
I mean, I was a little bit before. But just
Okay,
a
no,
little
we
bit.
might disagree on some things, but I don't think we'll disagree
No.
on this. Right? Huria, I'm looking at you.
Why is it
I'm looking
always
at
I'm
me.
looking at her too.
For me personally, I just want to see how everybody does on it first. Like, I want to be in the second batch versus the first batch of people.
Honestly, give me anything. I want to roam free in the streets.
That's my thing. Like, for me, it's like, okay, if it's good enough for like healthcare workers, all these politicians are getting
Yeah,
it. Like,
exactly.
I'm sure it's fine for me.
Oh, 100%. I think for me, it was just the fact that, like, it's really new, so it's a little scary.
None of us have lived through a pandemic before, so we're all scared of what could be in this thing possibly.
As long as no one believes that they're tracking you through this vaccine.
Yeah.
You know, I
You know,
think we're good.
I actually be really, really curious to know what our listeners think about the vaccine. So tell us your thoughts.
I think my resolution is just to relax more and watch more TV, anime. I know, weeb here. But
Attack on Titan.
don't get me started. I'm a big fan. Hot Aaron, let's go.
Me and Afreen go back and forth with anime
A lot.
so.
And K-dramas too. Need to catch up on True Beauty.
And K-dramas.
And
Me too.
Yes.
True Beauty.
Suho, let's go.
I've never seen True
Oh,
Beauty.
you should. And then the last thing I want to do is play more video games. Just because I have so many in my backlog. To anyone who likes computers, I have a 3090. I'm going to brag right now. Nobody else knows what that means.
So my resolution is to just love myself a little bit more.
Oh, I love that. Oh.
Aw, we all love you enough.
Oh, thanks. I feel like
You should love yourself too.
I think it's more of like a body image thing because, Every year I always say I want to lose weight and I want to get like fit again and I want to look like what I did in college. And for those of you that don't know, I had a baby almost 2 years ago, but my body obviously has changed after having a kid, you know? And it's almost been 2 years, but I haven't lost a lot of the baby weight and just having kind of like body dysmorphia and things like that. The last year and a half, I kind of concentrated on this doesn't look good on me, that doesn't look good on me. But like, I think this year I want to focus on like, stop looking at the negativity of my body and just kind of like accept for what it is. Obviously get healthy and cut my weight down or whatever just to be healthy, but I'm not going to look at myself in the mirror and be like, I look gross or this isn't right, you know?
And you're always going to be your biggest critic, but
Yeah.
just know that we all think you're absolutely beautiful just the way you are.
I mean, you are an inspiration.
I love you guys.
I love you.
I mean, all I know is that if I had a nearly 2-year-old, I would not look like you. So
Seriously. And her style is so good too.
I literally look like I have like sextuplets over here. So
No, you guys really
Mean 6.
that was the first one I could
moving
think of.
on.
I'm so
Let's go.
sorry.
Honey, what's your resolution?
My resolution is just to finish renovations in our home and spend a lot more time with my family.
That's so wholesome. I love that. And I want that for you.
That's nice.
I love that.
Thank you. And more time with you guys, because I feel like last year we definitely got a lot closer, but I hope we can actually hang out.
I know.
We've only seen each other twice in the whole year,
Oh my
which is good.
God.
That means you guys know we're
Really?
taking this seriously.
You're right.
Yeah.
Twice?
No way. It was like 3 times maybe.
It wasn't enough, and that's the important part.
I feel like, yeah, I mean, I think the main thing that I'm hearing out of all of our resolutions is that we just want to do more of what makes us happy.
Amen. Stay positive, test negative.
I love that. I love that.
You just really wanted to say that.
Yeah.
I saw your tweet about
I
it
love
too, and I
that.
was like, that's really cute.
It's my motto.
All right, so let's get into what we're actually going to talk about today. I mean, of course, this isn't like a normal episode. We're just going to still be chit-chatting, but we wanted to pick a topic. So for today's topic, we're going to be asking each other, what do we think about Valentine's Day?
I love it.
I hate it.
It's a day of hearts.
In order to ask this question, we decided to go through a couple of smaller questions with you guys on our Instagram story. If you'd like to participate, like Huria and Hanya said earlier, just follow us and you can participate in our polls for the next mini-sode.
So the first question was, do you think Valentine's Day adds pressure to spend more money on your significant other? To those that answered our poll on Instagram, we asked our followers what their thoughts were on that, and 64% of you all said yes, it does add more pressure, versus 36% of you guys said no, there's no pressure whatsoever. So what are your thoughts on that, ladies?
It depends on what your expectations are, right? It also depends on if you're in a new relationship versus old relationship. I feel like if you're in a newer relationship, it does add a little bit more pressure and expectation. Whereas when you're kind of in the groove of things and you kind of understand each other a little bit more, it can be like a little smoother.
That's really true. Yeah. Because in the beginning, sometimes you're so scared, like, oh, what do I get this guy?
Yeah.
What if he gets me something more expensive? What if he gets me something dirt cheap? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
You kind of want to gauge.
Exactly. And then like once you're in a relationship, you can just kind of be like, the example is already set. Like, I know to get her like jewelry, or I know I can just get away with like chocolate and still kind of show affection.
There's always going to be a little bit of pressure in a sense, and that I don't think necessarily more spending money, but for me it's more about the thought behind the present. I think that's how I am. But when you're like in high school or college, you think that like, no, you have to spend the most amount of money just to make that person happy, versus now I feel like 6 years into a relationship now, I don't feel like that's the case. There is a new study that revealed that men have higher expectations for Valentine's Day spending than women.
Really?
Yeah.
Men? Why men? I thought they don't care about it.
The audacity.
I have no idea. But according to bankrate.com, male respondents say that they plan to spend an average of $339 on their spouse or partner. And women say they plan to spend significantly less, so about $64.
That's crazy. That is a big...
I can see that though, honestly. Maybe they want to gift like jewelry, and that can get pretty expensive.
Maybe
Whereas
it's a different type of transaction, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Shit.
You didn't expect me to say that, but I came out and said it.
But one more thing quickly, ladies. There's a survey that finds that men expect their partners to spend more serious cash on them, more than $200, but women say they expect their partners to only spend about $154. So what does that really say? I mean, at the end of the day, these are just numbers, but
Yeah.
I think,
They don't
yeah,
surprise
it
me.
doesn't really surprise me either,
that's true.
honestly.
So we can go on.
I don't know. I feel like sometimes like men like to act like they don't care about these like commercialized holidays, but then once they're in a relationship, they're like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, like I do care because I know if they want something, then I should get something in
I just
return.
know I know how my husband is, and I love him so much, but all men are at the end of the day, they like to be babied. You know what I mean? They like a little bit of affection. Doesn't matter how much you're spending, but they want to be showered just like they're showering us.
I think for
Right.
anyone, it's nice to know that they're loved, and whatever
Exactly.
that means for them, whether it's, you spending on them or whether it's you showing more affection and, doing
It's like
little
signs of
things
love.
and things
Or-
like that. Yeah, like showing signs of love. I mean, whoever wants to spend X amount of money on a present for Valentine's Day, that's their own business, right? But like, I think it's also just what you think is showing love.
That's so true. It's like, everyone's love language
Exactly.
is
Yeah,
different.
I was gonna say, like, I agree with the idea that in the beginning, most couples tend to spend more money because they're not really sure of what the other person's expectations are. So that definitely makes sense to me. I feel like in the beginning, that's how I was too with my husband. So
Funny, I feel like even from the beginning, like when me and my husband started
Our journey.
talking our journey, yeah, whenever we started that, I don't know, I feel like it was kind of always just this, because we had talked about it, because neither of us are very romantic people. Like, we like when the other person is like does stuff and is romantic, but we're not really good at it. So we,
Aw.
like, literally, I remember in the beginning we were just like, you know what, we're just not gonna be big Valentine's Day people, and that's okay. And then later that turned into, we'll celebrate it like nicely, like every other year.
I think
Is this the year?
that's why I'm saying it's kind of like, you kind of set those expectations, and if you want to do it, then you do it.
As long
Absolutely.
as you're both happy.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's move on to number 2.
So our second question is, what's better, an expensive gift or a sentimental gift? And we asked our Insta audience, and 80% of you guys said something sentimental as opposed to something expensive. And what do you guys think?
I love sentimental.
Sentimental for sure.
It's so funny
Yeah.
because both me and my husband answered this poll, and we both put bougie. We both put expensive and
Wait, I
bougie.
was gonna say you two are very bougie people.
Yeah.
I mean, I like sentimental stuff too, but I think I like a mix of it. Like, I want to know that because obviously we both like more pricier things, but if you put a little sentimental thought into it, then it's nice. Like, if I've been wanting to do something and you do that for me, that would be nice.
That's so cute. I like that.
And I think even sentimental things
The
can be
dishes.
like, what if sentimental things can be like, something like a scent that you wear that you really like, but it's a little expensive and
Right.
they gift it to you. But
Sentimental.
hey.
I mean, it speaks volumes that you guys are more kind of the love language of giving gifts and receiving them. Like that, I think, regardless if it's really expensive or not, it's still something you guys both value, and that's how you show your love for each other.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it shouldn't just be like a pressure of just spending money, but just like kind of getting something that you think the other person would like, as opposed,
Absolutely.
But average Americans really do spend a lot of money during this time, where last year Americans spent almost $27.4 billion on Valentine's Day alone, which was much higher than the year before.
That's a lot of money.
And I think it's not just romantic relationships, right? Like, I spend money on my partner, but I also spend money on like my sister, or like I want to get my mom something
Day,
small,
right.
Valentine's Day for your friends and stuff like that. And I like, after reading that, I kind of thought to myself, and I was like, wow, that's true. I don't spend just on my husband. I have a daughter now, so I want to get her something cute for Valentine's Day. Or, in a way, it's kind of a sentiment for me too, because I want to spend it on just people I love,
I mean, I think the main point of it is that you're getting something the person would appreciate. Whether it's expensive or it's cheap, it's something that they would appreciate. And it doesn't have to be just your partner. Okay, so let's move on to question number 3.
Question number 3. Do we like how holidays incentivize you to spend money on those you love? According to our Instagram audience, 53% of you said yes and 47% said no, which I think is funny. It's kind of right down the middle.
That's right down the middle.
What do you guys
Yeah.
think?
Yeah. I feel like people don't really know to show their affection because sometimes they get so used to the groove of things that when a holiday comes around, they're like, oh yeah, like I should get something for that person. Even though I feel like I appreciate it more when my husband does it just because, but I still like holidays and having an excuse to spend on each other.
I totally agree. I mean, if it's one of those holidays that's already commercialized, why not shop the sales? Like,
Right.
for me personally, I'm a big proponent of shopping on February 15th and getting all the discounted candy. That's just one of my favorite
It's
things
like
to do.
post-October and
So-
post-February sales for chocolate. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So it's so funny because in November, that's our anniversary and my husband's birthday is in November. So for me, I have to spend like double the amount that month. And then my birthday is in February and Valentine's Day is in February. So like I try to like have him like even it out, because in the beginning I was like, I don't really care if you kind of get me whatever, but now I'm kind of like, no, if I'm spending a little bit more, it just like that Valentine's Day, it just gives me like a little bit of like an excuse. Like,
I just always like being asked to be someone's Valentine on Valentine's Day.
It better be a particular individual.
So it's funny. I was doing some research on this and I found this survey that found that millennials, actually ages 24 to 39, they had the most aggressive spending plans and they topped the list at about $208 in purchases. And, we aren't the only ones spending money around Valentine's Day, but those people, I guess, with the longer record of these things, older people, they plan to spend an average of $43.
Oh, wow. How do you even do
Dang.
anything in that?
But I mean, I feel like it just kind of goes to show that maybe with time, I don't know. What does that say about relationships in a way?
I mean, that's true. Because I feel
Yeah.
like my parents, like, they would just get each other.
I mean, but it might not be a bad thing either.
Yeah. Maybe it's just like you have a more understanding of each other and your love for each other.
Exactly.
Last year, me and my husband, we just had like a $20 budget and we're like, just do with that. And I really, really enjoyed it because I felt like 5 years ago when we would celebrate it, it was so much pressure on like, not necessarily how much we're spending, but like, is this enough? Like, am I doing enough?
It was so much pressure on my husband who'd be like, oh my God, what is he doing?
And now it's just the small things. Well, for me, at the end of the day, I don't care.
I mean, yeah, literally 4 years ago for our Valentine's Day, we just went and got our marriage license and went to
That's
Silver
so
Diner.
cute.
I
That's
like that.
perfect.
That's cute. I was going to say, hopefully this is out and they can listen. So let's move on to number 4. So next we asked you guys, do you prefer fancy restaurants or a home-cooked meal? 45% of you said you prefer a fancy dinner and 55% said you prefer a home-cooked meal. I actually said I prefer a fancy dinner because why not? I mean, I feel like when you have a reason to go out and eat, you might as well. But what do you guys think?
I like home cooked.
I like both.
Well, yeah, definitely both. But I think last year for Valentine's Day, my husband and I think this is before the lockdown
Yeah.
and everything. So literally a month before that, my husband had decided to set up the home cooked meal where we cooked together. It was really, really romantic. We were listening to music in the background. The lights were like pink and we were just doing it. It was really romantic. And then I didn't know, like, I would never go to a restaurant after that because of the pandemic. So
That same night, I was out to dinner with my parents.
Wow.
Aw.
Well, my husband was away. He's on a business trip. So it was actually really nice to be their third wheel.
Those are your original Valentines.
They are.
That is so
I wanted to
cute.
actually ask, like, have you guys ever been to a restaurant on Valentine's Day?
I have.
Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
I've never.
It's so
I think I
overwhelming.
did once.
Balloons everywhere, streamers everywhere, flowers and red and
Oh my
pink
God,
and
I
white.
remember
Yeah.
one time my husband took me to like those restaurants on Valentine's Day. We were there and I just looked at him and I did not like the food. We left and we just got McDonald's. I was like, this is not my kind of
So-
thing.
Yeah, I think the first 2 years we would go out for Valentine's Day. And then when we were dating, so 3 years. And then we kind of got sick of it because it was the same, like what you guys were saying, like
Yeah.
the food was like subpar. And like,
Yeah.
so we had like, I think 1 year where we stayed home and he cooked me dinner, which was really nice for a change. And then I think after having a baby, I was like, I just want to go out. I want to go to those cheesy restaurants. I want to go and spend that alone time.
What would you prefer offering?
I don't know. I think I haven't really
This is
celebrated.
so funny. I've been staring at Austin's
I
face.
know.
I know.
I was like,
And
guys,
I've been laughing.
y'all talking about your husband. I'm talking about people that I've been on dates with before on Valentine's Day. I don't know. I never had an indoor, like, at-home meal for Valentine's Day. I've always gone out.
I was gonna say, just imagine yourself in like a K-drama and like, what would you want?
Ooh.
So you're telling me I'm Jae-young and is Sejun making me a meal or Suho? And if we're going out, I mean, I don't know. Sejun really likes spicy food. I'm just kidding. And I love spicy food. In the K-drama, I really like him, even though in the webtoon, I really like Suho. Nobody asked for this. Absolutely no one. But I had to say it.
I asked for
I know.
this. I asked.
I was gonna say that according to an Open Table survey about Valentine's Day, 51% of respondents said that they actually plan to dine out on February 14th, the day of Valentine's Day. And that's literally half the city, because it doesn't matter how many people they ask, it's probably half of the people. And I think that in itself is saying it's not an enjoyable experience. Like I myself, like I've gone on Valentine's Day as well and fun. Because it's so crowded. And so I prefer to go on a day that's not Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And even like the waiter, like I never even thought about it from their perspective, but I was reading from a Huffington Post article that the waiters were saying that they feel incredible pressure to give you like this surreal experience because it's such a special day, and it's impossible because it's so crowded and it's just unrealistic expectations. So I think that in itself is something really to think about if you're planning to go eat out on Valentine's Day.
We've whenever I went for a Valentine's Day for whoever I was with at that time, we would actually celebrate it on a separate date because it would just be easier on everyone, the waiters, and for us. Parking is such an issue too, like getting your table in time. Yeah,
So moving on to number 5.
Do the holidays actually cause more fights between people? So for yes, we've got 59%, and for no, we've got 41%. So we're still almost at like an equilibrium here, but yes is kind of leaning a bit more. So I guess y'all get into fights. I don't know. No, well, it really...
I personally don't think they cause more fights because like we've been saying earlier, as long as you're on the same page with your partner, it should be something that you actually enjoy and look forward to.
I think, I feel like it's funny. I think in the survey myself, I said, yes, it does cause fights. But then the more I think about it, I just feel like if you have an understanding with your significant other, then why it shouldn't cause you fights unless you guys just don't communicate. And then on that point, you guys got other issues.
Yeah,
right.
So some of the stuff that I found around this is in relationships between partners that over a long-term study, couples who were studied for 14 years by this guy, Ted Huss. Basically, he saw that those who kind of had issues in the relationships usually had high expectations. In his research, 168 married couples for over 14 years showed that if they had high expectations in the relationship, whether they were celebrating their anniversary or Valentine's Day, they would have more issues. And it's usually over money or like things that you would expect from the other person. Those couples that actually didn't have to deal with a lot of issues or had less fights, they didn't have high expectations from their partner. And I thought that was pretty interesting. So again, it's like what everyone's saying.
Moral of the story: have
moral of the story is that's a thing. I think that's a thing. Like
I think it's communication.
Yeah, exactly.
I think if you have high expectations, then you should be with someone that has the same type of understanding and everything. You need to just talk it out before. Right?
You know what the funny thing is though? Usually when it comes to anniversaries, Valentine's Day, anything that's romantic, like I've never had any issues, but it's really more of like those big holidays, right? Where it's Thanksgiving or something. The argument more really comes like, you know, making sure you're giving both family times and stuff like that. That's where it's more of like making sure it's
So it's not like a relationship
Exactly. So basically, regardless what holiday it is, if you're usually getting into fights with your partner or whoever you're celebrating with, right? Like it has to do with communication and like you're not working on that relationship in of itself.
Exactly.
So,
Right. And I feel like we've been saying that throughout this episode.
Exactly.
Like it's about being on the same page.
Know your love languages and know their love language.
Yeah. 100%.
That is so true. Yeah.
We went ahead and asked you guys, what are your thoughts on Valentine's Day and relationships? So why don't we go through some of the responses you guys gave us? A few of you were saying that it's just a great way to just express how much you love not just the people who you're with, but everybody. And we also got some negative responses too, saying that it's just a sham. So our listeners, I think, are pretty 50-50.
Another response we had was that people get caught up in one-upping each other, which I thought was interesting.
That was definitely me 10 years ago.
I feel like I can agree with that to an extent. Like I see that happening where if one couple is doing that, I should be doing that too. What we learn to realize is that every couple is different, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And what you're seeing is the highlight.
People need to remember whatever they're seeing on social media, no one really knows what's going on behind the scenes.
I'll never forget the one time I saw a couple on Instagram. They seemed so in love for Valentine's Day. They had like 1 million heart-shaped balloons. And I was like, wow, they must have a great relationship. Turned out he was cheating or he was on drugs. I don't know what, but they broke up.
Wow.
That's sad.
This is why just in general, when I see someone's Instagram or something, it doesn't, faze me at all. Like I'm happy for you and I say my mashallahs and everything, but I don't know what's going on.
Someone else said there's 364 other days in a year to show me love and I don't want it just for Valentine's Day. Preach. I agree with that.
I agree with that too,
that.
but there's nothing wrong with it. That's how I feel. Like, let me just enjoy my life.
I don't think this person is saying there's nothing wrong with it. I think she's just saying I want love all the time, which I can relate to.
I just feel like if we don't have a day, then most men and maybe some women will not go that extra mile to do stuff, you know? So when you have that day, we're supposed to show each other how much we love each other. If we don't do something, it's going to be bad.
Another response that we received was, sucks when you're single. And if you struggle with mental health, it puts pressure on you. I can understand where that comes from because there is an onus on single people to want to be in a relationship or have someone and like spend this quote unquote special time with others. And you're looking at all the ads, TV, Instagram, like just everywhere around you. You're just getting constantly pushed to like have something that you can't have right now for a variety of reasons. How we can celebrate Valentine's Day or a day like it with other kinds of people who aren't a romantic interest, but those we love regardless. So it could be a family member or a good friend, your best friend, in fact.
A pet.
Valentine's Day is a huge thing. Yes.
Mother-daughter. We have our mother-daughter.
Exactly.
But it can also be a pet.
A pet too. We reclaim this holiday for something that really is meaningful to us. We make it our own.
That was so beautifully said, offering.
Yeah.
Snaps for free.
Snaps.
For all the single people out there, I feel you, man.
It's all about how you look at it, but I can see how it puts a lot of pressure on you when you are already struggling. So just know that there's always positive experiences that you can make from the holiday, like Afreen was saying.
When I was younger, I felt like, oh, I needed someone. I'm going to spend another Valentine's Day alone. I don't want to think about it that way anymore.
Before I had Zishan, like my husband, I would literally just celebrate with my friends. Like I think I would send something, or we would celebrate Valentine's Day, right? Or I'd like celebrate with my parents. So
it's cute. There's so many different interpretations of it.
I was going to say our parents are very nice enough to let us go to Valentine's Day dinner with them. They would be like, no, come with us. And I'd be like, wow. Okay.
I know. When my parents would be like, no, you're coming too. I'm like, why? You guys are so weird.
Another response we got was Valentine's Day is a sham, but I also want flowers.
I like this
to turn it back on single
same.
people or even people with like in relationships, buy yourself flowers, celebrate yourself, have Valentine's Day for yourself. You love yourself.
Every year I buy myself a birthday present and I send my online and I'll send myself a card. So on my birthday I get a card for myself.
I really like that. That's cute. I'm going to do that for my birthday this year. That's a good idea. It's so funny because me and my sister were watching the Bollywood movie Dil To Pagal Hai. And for our audience that don't know, that means heart is crazy.
Yeah.
Literal meaning. It sounds funny. But anyway, so the main girl in that, like, it's like Valentine's Day and she like bumps into her friend at the store and her friend is like, why are you buying all these gifts? She's like, oh, I'm buying it for myself because I don't have anybody else, but you know, I love myself, so I'm gonna
I
buy
love
it for
that.
myself. And I was like, the self-care, the self-love. I was like, I need to take this lesson.
Forget other people. Get yourself something for Valentine's Day because you are worth it.
Remember, when you love yourself, that will welcome people to love you.
And even if they don't, who the F cares? You're better than them.
I think I look like a burnt chicken nugget, but I love myself.
As much as we'd love to sit here and go through all the responses we got from you, again, thank you so much for participating in our poll and for responding to our questions, because this is what's really going to keep these minisodes going. And we got a lot of feedback this time. We actually even got a lot of feedback on relationships overall. And we just decided that for the future, we're going to do a whole other minisode on it. So if we didn't get to your feedback, it's because it'll probably be in the next minisode. And in the meantime, please email or DM us your stories, or if you need advice, any thoughts, suggestions you have on relationships and breakups, because we want to talk about those hard stories. It doesn't have to be with a significant other. It can be a breakup with friends, family members, anyone. We want to just hear your story and build a better connection with you, the listener. So thank you. If you enjoyed listening to this minisode, please subscribe and follow us at Hash Brown Girls.
Thanks, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Ooh, our first mini tater toddy.
Woohoo! Thank you, Tater Tots.
Hopefully, you guys will stick around for the next one. Thanks for joining, guys.
TTTs.